and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Let the records reflect that all council members are present and accounted for. Councilman Haynes is with us virtually this evening. Before I get into the minutes, I am sad to announce that former Councilman Carl E. Ball passed away yesterday at his home after struggling with cancer for the past several months. So if you could keep his family in your prayers, we would greatly appreciate that. Carl was a tremendous asset to the city and definitely a force for the residents here. So keep the family in your prayers if you would, please. He will be missed. Getting into business, we have approval of the minutes of the December 7th and December 12th regular meetings with a correction to the December 7th minutes. I will entertain a motion, please.
So moved.
Very good. May I have a second to that motion to approve?
Second.
Any discussion? Any additional amendments? Anything? All right. Hearing none, on the motion to approve the corrected minutes of the December 7th meeting and the December 12th meeting, motion from Councilman Foster, second from Mayor Pro Tem Fuller. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. Mr. Haynes, are you able to turn your camera on during the meeting?
No, unfortunately not.
Okay, very good. We'll record that as a 3-0 vote. Thank you. All right, next, it is my honor to welcome our new council person who was chosen Wednesday evening by the council, Miss Elizabeth Cheney. If you'll meet me up here, we'll swear you in to your new position. Left hand on the Bible, right hand up, please. I, Elizabeth Cheney,
I, Elizabeth Cheney,
do swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States
do swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
and that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance
and that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance
to the state of Maryland
to the state of Maryland,
and support the Constitution and laws thereof,
and support the Constitution and laws thereof,
and that I will, to the best of my skill and judgment,
and that I will, to the best of my skill and judgment,
diligently and faithfully,
diligently and faithfully,
without partiality or prejudice,
without partiality or prejudice,
execute the office of council member
execute the office of council member
according to the Constitution and laws of this state.
according to the Constitution and laws of this state.
Very good. Thank you so much. Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
We appreciate it. You may take your seat there. Mayor Pro Tem, I believe you wanted to speak.
Yep. I just wanted to say thank you to the other 5 people who also sent in their resumes to be considered. They are Rob Leonard, Deanna Schaefer, Chris Tillman, Ava Miller, and Daryl Leeberry. Every one of those, excluding the ones that have already are on a commission, have been sent an invitation to serve on a board or committee, and we hope they take us up on that, and we look forward to working with them in the future. I just wanted to say a few words about Beth. She's been a Maryland State Teaching Certified since 2004, and she's currently teaching at Runnymede Elementary. She's been a member of our Parks and Rec Board since 2019, serving as the secretary. Huge loss there, I'm sure Lorena would tell you. She has extensive community involvement through Carroll County Public Schools, as well as serving on the Lions baseball board for several years. She's been active in city events and has the ability to work well with everyone. She has leadership capabilities and a dedication to serve the community. All of these commitments and connections means an additional line of communication to the community, which is a huge benefit. Beth has younger children, and adds that perspective as we continue with our large park projects over the next few years. And we're lucky to have her join us, and I look forward to working with her for the next 2 years. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Mayor Pro Tem. I believe District 1 Commissioner Vigliotti would like to speak, if you would like to do so. We'll give you a microphone from which to do so.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. Before I say a few words, how about a round of applause for our new councilwoman? Mr. Mayor, members of the council, it is a distinct pleasure to be here before you this evening. I come here tonight to offer congratulations to our new councilwoman. And I want to say that, everybody on the Board of Commissioners is rooting for you, and I know that you're going to do a phenomenal job. I also want to offer congratulations to our new Mayor Pro Tem, Judy Fuller, who I know is already doing a good job, and I'm looking forward to working with all of you in the coming years. We have letters of congratulations being prepared for both of you, and they will be sent to you as soon as possible. I pray that God blesses all of your endeavors in every single possible way, and thank you for these brief few moments this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe.
Thank you, Commissioner. Appreciate you joining us this evening. Now move on to seeking from council if they have any conflicts of interest on anything on the agenda this evening.
No, sir. No.
All right. With that, our first item up for approval is the Tower Stream contract, which was gone over Wednesday evening by Mr. Wieprick. I'll entertain a motion, and please specify the motion.
Motion to approve the Tower String contract as presented.
Very good. May I have a second to that motion, please?
Second.
All right. Any questions regarding this contract as presented this evening to you? All right. Hearing no additional comment, on the motion to approve the Tower Stream contract from Councilman Foster with a second from Councilman Hand, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. All right. We'll move on for adoption this evening. Resolution 2023-01, the water allocation for the month of January. I will entertain a motion.
Motion to approve water allocation for January.
And may I have a second to that motion, please?
Second.
All right. Any discussion? All right. Hearing no more discussion. On the motion to approve Resolution 2023-01 from Mayor Pro Tem Fuller with a second from Councilman Hand, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, say nay. All right. Our next resolution up for adoption tonight is Resolution 2023-02, the fee schedule for 2023. And I'll entertain a motion, please.
Motion to approve the 2023 fee schedule.
And may I have a second to that?
Second.
Any discussion, questions? All right, with no further discussion on the motion to approve Resolution 2023-02, the fee schedule for 2023, from Councilwoman Foster with a second from Councilman Hand. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, say nay. All right. That concludes the adoption portion of the evening. We'll go to Mr. Wieprick. Do you have any additions to your city manager report, sir?
Just want to call to your attention, we do have a draft budget schedule now, so if we can get consensus on the date to meet in February for our budget workshop, we'd like to tentatively meet on Wednesday, February 22nd.
Great way to celebrate a
Ash
president from long
Wednesday.
ago.
That's Ash Wednesday.
Yes, it is.
All right, members of council. February 22nd, a Wednesday evening, proposing for budget workshop. How does everyone's calendars look that evening? That's acceptable. Councilman Haynes, do you know if you'll be available that evening?
I'll be available, but I have to do it virtually.
But virtual, very good. All right, Councilwoman Cheney,
I'm good.
you're available? Very good. I believe we're good.
Okay, very good.
So-
We'll lock that in. Thank you.
All right, February 22nd, we'll all be here for some fun.
What's the start time?
You want to
7:30?
keep it 7:30 as normal? Okay.
Occasionally we change that.
All right, anything else, Mr. Weeprick?
No, that's all.
All right, I'll ask members of council if they have any questions for the city manager on his report or the departmental reports as presented. All right. Thank you. Moving into our new business this evening, our monthly financial report. I will entertain a motion to approve, please,
So moved.
and a second to that.
Second.
Any questions on the monthly financial report? Debate, heated or otherwise? Feeling good? All right. On the motion to approve the monthly financial report from Mayor Pro Tem Fuller with a second from Councilman Foster. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, say nay. All right. And I will seek the same for the accounts payables.
Move to approve.
Thank you. May I have a second to that motion?
Second.
All right. Again, questions, comments? All right, on the motion to approve the accounts payables from Councilman Hand with a second from Mayor Pro Tem Fuller. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, say nay. All right, our next item of business is police holidays as brought forward by Mr. Weeprick on Wednesday evening. May I have a motion, please?
I motion that we table this matter until further study on it.
Okay, we have a motion to table for further study. Do I have a second to that motion?
Second.
Get my notes in order here. Any discussion?
Mr. Mayor, I have one thing I'd like to add.
Yes, Councilman.
I completely agree with the motion to table, but I do want to add that I think when this discussion happens, someone from the rank and file of the department ought to be part of that conversation.
All right, so noted.
And I'm curious about the nature of the data or what we'll be looking at. So we'll look at other departments, we'll look at other best practices from a variety of areas that are similar to Taneytown.
Well, we're going to, council members may request what data they would like to see for their own research. Whatever you request will be provided to everybody. But you may work with Mr. Weeprick to obtain whatever information you find necessary. And since it is tabled for further study, it can be brought up at future meetings next month if we wish to discuss it further as well. Any additional discussion on the matter? Very good. On the motion to table for further study, the topic of police holidays from Councilwoman Foster with a second from Mayor Pro Tem Fuller. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, say nay. All right. Notes, notes, notes. Got it. All right, next we have approval of special event permit for Carroll County Humane Society Wolfstock, scheduled on June 17th at Memorial Park. I will entertain a motion to approve, please.
So moved.
May I have a second to that motion, please?
Second.
Councilman Hand just beat you out.
No problem.
Any discussion? All right. On the motion to approve the Carroll County Humane Society Wolfstock at Memorial Park special event permit, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, say nay. All right. Our next topic, I don't believe we're going to look for a vote this evening, but is a further discussion of Community Village. I believe, Mr. Weeprick, you sent out some information to the council earlier.
I did. I just took a look at those parts of the community village ordinance that pertain to the rear-loaded garages and alleyways, and made some changes that would ease that restriction. And Councilwoman Cheney, that there's a hard copy on the corner of the table for you there. Okay. So those are just some ideas to get some discussion going, or if you know, it doesn't incentivize the alleys. We could look at, you know, maybe providing a further density bonus to do that. But I have a little bit of a concern that if we're incorporating that additional impervious area for the alleys, and then we're also increasing density, it's going to make it really challenging to develop a site and meet the current stormwater management regulations while doing all those other things.
Right. I don't think
without there being some spillover to like height regulations and
Right.
all kinds of other stuff.
I don't think increasing density is something we're interested in doing. Community village tends to be quite dense as it is. I understand there's advantage utility-wise and infrastructure-wise to do that. But at some point, you're just packing them in, and that does not work for a very aesthetically appealing development, in my opinion. Does anyone wish to speak on this topic this evening, or do you want to continue researching into this? And this one's going to keep coming back every month until we come up with something.
And we will discuss it at the Planning Commission and
Right.
get some thoughts there as well. But if what's before you seems to be a decent direction to move in, we can take that before the Planning Commission, and if they're in agreement to that sort of approach, maybe next month we can come back with it in ordinance form, or draft at least, and refine it some more next month. But I think we do want to try to keep this one moving, because we do have a number of projects that are kind of waiting in the wings for community village overlay.
I understand that. At the same time, I'm not going to let the council or the planning commission be rushed to a decision on it. If they have to wait, they have to wait. I want to make sure that whatever we do is going to be for the best of the city. Councilman Hand, you look quizzical.
It's just my ignorance, sorry. Ultimately, what is the goal to have a community village overlay? Because in my mind, I'm thinking it's existed. It seems compromised in terms of development. So if we're going to have it, I would think we have strong parameters for it. And if people don't want to build in that way, then they would go to a different type of project. So ultimately, what is the desire to have a community village overlay?
So the ordinance was envisioned to allow a variety of housing types, and potentially, depending on the parcel and the zoning of the parcel, even non-residential uses to all be incorporated into a community. It does allow for, some commercial uses within it if the zoning permits. So far, we've only had residential properties apply for the overlay. The idea is that it's by allowing smaller lot sizes and kind of almost like a clustering effect to better preserve the dominant features, or the most, the best features of a site as open space, rather than just doing the typical mass grading and leveling as much as you can to squeeze in as many developable lots as you can. The idea would be to allow the developer to still put in the number of houses they need to make a project viable, while still preserving more open space. So it kind of clusters the houses, and the idea is that it preserves larger stretches of open space in between the homes. And it's also supposed to raise the bar architecturally, and also with the level of community amenities that are going to be built into a community, like walking trails or other facilities. Carol Vista, I think, is a strong example of a community village. There is some open space between the vast majority of the I don't want to use the term lots because Carol Vista is actually a condominium structure. But between the condominium units, there are very few that abut the rear of another unit. There's, a walking path or some little bit of open space between most of the units. The driveways, because the garages stick forward of the homes, the driveways are shorter to encourage people to park in the garages rather than leaving cars out front. So the architecture is emphasized rather than the vehicles parked in the street or in the driveways. The landscaping is supposed to be a bit more robust than a typical subdivision. Basically, if it's done the way the code envisioned it, that would be the neighborhood where everybody would want to live.
Thank you.
But I think a key to it also is in R10,000, which is what most of our residential land inventory is, the only permitted use by right is a single-family detached dwelling. So that's when you get what some would call the cookie-cutter development of Creekside or Meadowbrook or any of the, a lot of the recent subdivisions over the last 20 or 30 years. And this would allow other types of dwellings like semi-detached or triplexes, even townhomes could be a portion of it. But you can't develop strictly as townhomes or triples. There has to be a mix. So you also get a mix of incomes in the same community because not everybody can afford a single-family home, but they still might want a new product. So you can have the townhomes or the semi-detached mixed in with the single families.
So from when I reflect on community feedback, a lot of individuals shared that it seems all the grocery stores, all of the commerce is down on the east side of town. So for my want, if we were developed on the west side, it wouldn't just be a residential community village. There would actually be a small grocery store. There'd be opportunities for people on this side of town to be able to find what they need on the west side of town.
And community village gives them that ability.
Yes.
Unfortunately, developers don't seem to want to do that. And there's been conversations of asking for mixed-use developments that incorporate, a small strip center or something to kind of provide some commerce on this side of the city. And that was met with resistance, because then you need someone to manage that commercial aspect, the leases and things like that. As you know, with most developers, once they're done, they're done.
Right.
They don't want to stick around and manage anything quite like that.
And my want would be, as a town, to basically be more firm
Yep.
with that, so that we don't just continue what has been.
Right. So that's where we can use community village ordinance to provide the options where there's going to be a give and take. If they want to do X, then they're going to give up Y, and vice versa, and make it advantageous to them to do a mixed use in order to be able to do something else there. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And that's kind of the power that we need to put in place here that keeps us in the driver's seat and we stay on a vision for the city using that ordinance. Does that make sense?
And something to keep in mind also with regard to our typical development patterns is that there are not a lot of parcels, undeveloped parcels, or really any parcels in the city that have different zoning classifications on the same parcel. There are a couple, but the majority of parcels are completely within a single zoning district. So with the projects that are kind of waiting in the wings right now, they're all on parcels that are solely R10,000, I believe. So without that underlying zoning, they are going to be limited to residential development.
Right.
So it would really take a parcel, there's one large parcel on the east end of the city that's been undeveloped remains undeveloped, that's been in the city for decades, and that has a mixture of general business and residential. And something like that perhaps could use the community village overlay to get that mix of uses. But it's, when you factor in the underlying zoning, it's almost like we're trying to push a mix of Euclidean zoning, which is where you have uses, segregation by uses, and a form-based code where you look at the public space and then the impact that it's going to have, and then you look at the use farther down the road, or down the list of the hierarchy, I guess. So the community village, to get that mix of residential and commercial, there aren't a lot of parcels in the city that provide that opportunity.
Are there any?
Two.
I can think of a couple.
I can think of two off the top of my head, one on each side of the city.
Yeah.
There's probably more.
Maybe three. Yeah, I'm thinking maybe three.
If we try real hard, maybe three.
If I looked at a map, it might become more clear, but there's one it's within our growth area, but not yet annexed, that would provide a mix of commercial and residential. One property that is in the planning pipeline right now is, the project is called Garnet Ridge. It's the property immediately to the east of Venue Bouchon, which a lot of folks know as the old Havilah restaurant site. That one is going through the planning process right now, and a portion of the frontage along Route 140 is general business, but the bulk of the property is R10,000.
Right. Additional discussion, comments? All right, well, I'm going to ask from the council, where do you want to go with this? Do you want to have what's been presented in front of you from the city manager presented to the planning commission, or do you want another month to take a whack at it before we send it along?
I don't have a problem sending it to the planning commission and letting them kind of discuss it amongst themselves.
I agree. I think it would help the broader discussion if we can get some initial feedback from the planning commission and then go from there.
Okay, everyone in consensus then?
Yes.
All right, that's what we'll do.
But I'm getting that you would rather have it before you again, not in ordinance format yet. So would you like
Correct.
another
Yes.
crack at it before we put
discussion.
it in that
Correct.
format? Okay.
Yep.
Very good.
Thank you. All right. That brings us to the end of our new business. We'll move into our council member reports. We'll begin with Councilwoman Foster. What do you have for us this evening?
Okay, Public Works. The guys have been busy, as reported on Wednesday by the city manager. They've been busy repairing several leaks around the town, 5 to be exact. 4 were discovered with the leak detection device, and 5 was reported by a homeowner. The well 8 generator, the contractor is waiting for the completion of the tank rehab before mobilizing the generator installation. The tank rehab, the elevated water storage tank beside Food Lion was put back into service during December. The well controls, the control system that was purchased last year and was waiting on parts to completely take the wells off of line that was controlling them has been fully installed. Okay, Habitat for Humanity. We all heard the presentation from the executive director on Wednesday, and the council is still contemplating their request. Have some ideas for how we can proceed with that. I'll be meeting with the city manager and the treasurer on Wednesday, and based on what we come up with, I'll share it with council to aid in our decision-making process. No further report on Silver Oak Academy. Nothing's happening there. Hopefully, as the weather changes and things with the political wheels change, we will have some news about what's to happen out there. That's all I have.
All right. Thank you, Councilwoman. Mayor Pro Tem Fuller, what do you have for us this evening?
Okay, so the kickoff meeting with Arrow regarding the Memorial Park expansion project was held, and they should be submitting a concept design within the next few weeks. That will get us started over on that project in the rear of Memorial Park where there's that huge open space. Also, there's a survey out on Facebook on the Parks and Rec page. You can reach it. They're just trying to get input from the community to ask about what they think of the parks, what they'd like to see in the parks, and just get more information so that they have more of a guidance heading forward. So if everyone and anyone who has interest in the parks could take that survey, it would be a huge help, and I think it only takes a few minutes to complete. And then just to finish up, I don't think it can be said enough how wonderful Lorena has been. Just with every project we have, she's so thorough and she's so great. And she's just been such a huge improvement overall with our park system. And having seen the Public Works guys out working on some of those water leaks, I don't think we can say thank you to them enough also. They are just fantastic and have been so helpful also in the parks. So that is all I have.
All right. Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Councilman Hand, what do you have for us this evening?
Planning Commission, we did a lot leading up to the holidays in terms of wordsmithing ordinances. Now we're post-holiday, have a slight lull. We'll get back into working on the wording of comprehensive plan at the end of the month.
All right. Councilwoman Cheney, do you have anything you'd like to share this evening?
I have nothing. No.
What have you done in the 45 minutes you've been here?
Topic, so I'm good.
Yeah.
Very good. Councilman Haynes, do you have anything for us this evening, sir?
Not a whole lot, but with economic development, Director Misch testified for an upcoming business at their liquor board hearing, discussed potential expansion projects with county economic development. And just a shout out, Laughing Coffins celebrated their 1-year anniversary this past weekend. So that's all there. On a personal note, I just want to add that I touched down in Salt Lake today for military training, and I'll be back home February 23rd. That's all from me. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you, Councilman. Good luck on your trip out there and stay safe if you would, please. Congratulations, Laughing Coffin, for your 1-year anniversary. It's great to have you in the city. I'll begin with firstly thanking everyone that applied for the council seat that was vacant. It's very exciting to see people want to be involved, and I want everyone to know that we have a lot of opportunities to be involved. Right now, I need volunteers for several boards, especially the ethics and elections boards. If you know anyone that would be interested, please have them contact myself or the clerk, Ms. Kalman, and we can get you the appropriate forms to do that. But we definitely need more volunteers and would love to have anyone involved that can be involved. Back on December 17th, we were very happy to have Wreaths Across America back in the city again. In fact, this time at 2 cemeteries. Kind of a great event every year commemorating those who served in the armed forces. They lay wreaths at all of the grave markers, and a very nice day to be had. This Wednesday, January 11th, is opening day for the state legislature. So if that's something you're into, tune in. You're going to see a lot of people sworn in and kind of opening everything up. My understanding is that there's already been a tremendous amount of bills submitted, both from seasoned and new legislators. So it's going to be an interesting session this year. Along with that, the MML Legislative Committee that I serve on, it will be back in full swing starting Wednesday. So we'll be meeting every week, discussing what bills are out there and what's going to work best for municipalities and also for our residents. This Friday is our monthly business breakfast taking place at Thunderhead Bowling Alley. So if you are interested, if you have a business, if you like business, if you just want to come have a really good breakfast, come on out to the business breakfast this Friday morning. And I believe that's everything I have. So with nothing else, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
May I have a second to that, please?
Second.
I'm giving that one to Councilwoman Foster this time. Ooh, she was closer to me. All right, all in favor of adjourning signify by saying aye. Aye. Anyone opposed, say nay. Thank you all. We are adjourned.